Oh, welcome into the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame, intermission, postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, and west of Albania. Let's pick Albania tonight.
That's a good country.
Great country. As you can see, this is a different panel than usual because here on Pregame, we bring you the best, we bring you the brightest, and as we always say, you never know who you're going to see on the Press Row Show tonight. We have none other than Flyers GM, Danny Briere.
Hey, guys.
How's it going?
Good to see you, Danny. Welcome back. It's been a minute.
Thank you.
It's been a minute.
That's right.
But I figured, the last couple years, you came on right around the quarter poll to kind of talk about your team. And I thought, we're just past it. But this is kind of the first home game after that. Let's bring you back on and kind of see where the state of the team.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah. And I got to, just to start off up front, I got to ask you how you feel about the team that you're sitting in a playoff spot here, a little bit more than a quarter of the way into the season, beginning of December. Some people might have thought that wouldn't be the case, but yet here you guys are and playing some pretty good hockey.
Yeah, we're playing some solid hockey. No, far from being perfect, but there's a lot of good things. There's a lot of exciting parts of our games that we're happy about. But again, the important part is, and I hope the players especially go by that trying to stay even keel. I remember as a player, that was one of the toughest things for me early in my career, when things were going well, to not get too high. When things were going bad, not to let that affect you as much. It's a lot easier said than done. And that's all part of the experience, right? When they talk about gaining experience, that's, for me, that was one of the most important learning curve that I needed in my early development. So it's kind of the same approach here. I can't control anything that's going on the ice. That's probably the most frustrating part. But it applies with the team, trying to stay even keel. We've had a good stretch lately, but we understand that it can go the other way as well, just as quick.
You said that you can't control what happens on the ice, but you can control the players that you acquire. Let's have a chat.
Here we go.
Let's have a chat about Dan Vladar. I mean, listen. Did you think he'd be like top 10 in goals against the save percentage this far into the season?
Dan has been playing extremely well. No, we didn't expect him to be as good as he's been. It's been awesome to see that. But again, it's you need good people around you. You need smarter people than you around you. And there's a few people that stepped up and said they believed in him and thought he could be, a guy that could help us. The other thing you need is the player wanting to come to you and believing in what you're trying to do as well. But it's been a great start for him. Again, we got to be careful, right? Sure. It's early. He's never played, more than half a season or if that, as far as games played. So I just don't want to jump the gun too quick, but it's been fun to see.
What did your guys see with him in Calgary? Because, when I go back and look at it, they were really protective of Dustin Wolf there. Yeah. And so it looked like he was playing tougher games, like whether it was against a good opponent or whether it was the back end of back-to-backs. And they're not always the easiest situations to put a goalie into. What did they see from him in those games that made you go, oh, we think that could work here?
Well, like you said, evaluating game by game. So they went back and they looked at every single games he played and the matchups that he was faced with. It made sense with what they did with Dustin Wolf, but we felt that maybe he can come here and help out a guy like maybe it's Sam Ersson, maybe down the road it's Kolosov, maybe it's Jarnason. Who knows? Because we were in a time where anything was on the table, everything was on the table. It could have been anybody. Maybe he can come in and protect whoever. And at the time, we still have Fedotov. So that was kind of the approach in the off season. Give us a guy that can shoulder some heavy loads, some tough games, and maybe give Sam a little bit of a break, a little bit of a better situation for him. And you got to give Dan a lot of credit. He took and ran with it. So it's been cool to see.
So obviously, Dvorak's had a nice season. Juleson, awesome. Don't want to say, bypass him here. But flashiest guy that got brought into town, Trevor Zegras, a guy that, for a long time it felt like was maybe a target of this organization.
Yeah.
Nearly point per game pace at this point. Now, obviously, when he was brought in here, I think the thought was hey, he'll play a lot of center. He's played a lot of wing. He's kind of played a hybrid role. What have you seen from him so far? Are you happy with the usage, that hybrid role? Do you want to see him get a look at center, all that kind of stuff?
No, I think it's working great. And him and Dvorak is they've kind of clicked together. You never know, and that's the best feeling as a player when you find guys that you're comfortable out there with. I think Dvorak, and he's not talked about enough about how good he's been for us, protecting guys like Zegras and Tippett and Konechny and Michkov. Now you roll out, when you have him in the middle, you roll out Couturier or Cates or Dvorak, and you're not afraid of the matchup in the middle. So Dvorak has been excellent. And then, like you said, Trevor has been the more flashy, getting the points. There's an aura around him. When we acquired him, we've talked about how we needed more skill. We needed to take chances on younger guys. And obviously the younger guys that are getting 100 points a season, they're not available. So Trevor was a risk we felt was worth. He had proven in the past at an early age that he could deliver and lead an offense. So, so far it's working out well. It's a good start for him. Hopefully it keeps going.
There's a million questions we can ask. I know you're short on time, so we can't go too in depth with a lot of things. But one of the things I wanted to check in with you about is, a guy like Nikita Grabbankin. There's been a lot of talk about him. He's been in and out of the lineup, back in now. What have you seen from him, and where do you like where he's at with development, and how do you feel like you guys can best manage him going forward? Because he's ultimately probably a little bit more than a guy who should play 8 minutes a night, I would think, right?
Well, we hope so,
right.
But you never know, right? It depends how the players has to at some point take the ball and run with it too. He's almost in a kind of a 10th forward role at the moment. And we've been lucky, knock on wood, with injuries. It's been a good season that way. But I could see him being the next guy if someone gets hurt up front in the top 9. You're trying to get him ready for that. There's been a lot of teaching with him. The language is obviously a little bit of an issue here and there. But he's learning. He's getting better. The coaches are working with him on the proper routes and proper position. It feels like it's not something that never anybody seemed to spend a lot of time with him on that stuff. So, no, they're working with him. I like the progression, but we have to be a little bit more patient. He's still young, but eventually, yes, we have higher hopes than a fourth line for him.
I imagine that it's a balancing act. Just in general, there's some guys in the minors that I would assume that you would want to take a look at some point this season, depending on how the roster looks. I imagine that there is a conversation that's had with Rick Tocchet. You don't want to micromanage him and tell him how to do his job, right? You also wouldn't probably want him to tell you how to do yours. It's year 3 of the rebuild. I think the expectations were pretty low for the team from the fan base, not in a negative way. Just, I don't think a lot of people expected a team to look quite like this. How do you kind of toe that line and find that balance of, hey, there are some younger guys that we want to maybe get a look at, while also at the same time, team's playing well.
Yeah. I mean, usually it works itself out. We'll see what happens, but at the same time, the players kind of lead the charge with that. They'll tell you, first of all, when they're ready. Also, if they're in the minors, or we talked about Nikita, they'll let you know when they're ready to take a step. I think in times it might be needed. Talk has been great to work with. He gets the plan. And like I said, I don't want to get ahead of myself because it's still early.
Sure.
We're a quarter in, maybe a little bit more than a quarter in. Things can go the other way pretty quick. We're in a battle. You've seen how the East, how tight just our division alone is. We can't get ahead of ourselves thinking that it's nice we're in a playoff position, but by the end of this week, we could be on the outside looking in too. So one step at a time.
I had one last one before Ant gets his final question in.
Yeah.
On the farm side of things, right? Luchenko gets dealt to very talented team. That should I would assume that's going to be a positive. Your thoughts on his season so far? Martone, obviously, everybody has an eye on, and then also your other first round pick this year, Jack Nesbitt.
So on Jet Luchenko, yeah, it was a great trade for him, for his development. It was good. In Guelph, he got to play a lot. Not a powerhouse per se, but he had a big say in everything. Now going to Brantford, Jay McKee being the coach there, I feel very comfortable. Teaching him how to be a pro, giving him some tough assignments. He's gonna, try to him and Jake O'Brien are the top two centers. I think they want Jet to play more of a complete game and protect O'Brien and kind of let him do a little bit more on the offensive side. So it's Jet is developing his all-around game, which is good to see, and he's going to learn from a great pro in Jay McKee. Nesbitt, the reports that I get, I haven't had the chance to see him yet this year. The reports that I get are all positive. And I look at the box score and I'm like, why doesn't he have 30 goals by now?
Yeah.
But every time our guys come back from seeing him, they rave about how intense he's been, how physical he's been, how he's creating space for his line mates. He plays on the top line with Greentree, who was a high pick by LA, and Belchez, who's going to be a high pick this year in the draft. So he's on that line, and everything seems to be very positive, even though maybe not as much as we would like in the points department, but we're not worried about that at this point. And then Martone Porter has been having a great season, or a great start at Michigan State. We're watching him closely, and we hope that he takes his team to a national championship or play at least in the Final Four. To see him play some meaningful games, some big important games, would be good for his development.
Of course, you could also hope that he loses before that so you can get him here faster. Just saying. Last question from me, Danny. And I'm glad Russ brought up some prospects. I just wanted to kind of get your take on the Phantoms. They're playing they play pretty well so far. I know there's a couple of guys down there who are just knocking on the door waiting for an opportunity. Wanted to see if you could talk about those guys at all.
Yeah, well, up front, Denver Barkey has been very surprising. Everybody's raving about him. His all-around game is very solid, and he finds, for a smaller player, he finds ways to get it done. Levels after levels, he just figures it out, and we hope it's going to be the same thing here. Alex Bump had a slow start, had a slow training camp, but he's finally coming around. He's had some good video sessions with our skill guys, our development guys, and coaches down there, so that's really exciting. Kaplan as well has been surprising. He's playing a big physical game down there. On defense, there's been a lot of guys that are playing well. We're overstocked. We have a few extra players down there, but it's a good problem. And Oliver Bunk is about to make his debut in the next, hopefully by next weekend. So, and then don't forget about Bjarnason and Kolosov.
Yeah,
both of them
really
have
strong,
been solid. Yeah, so that's really exciting to see, and that's what acquiring or signing Vladar gives us the chance to develop Kolosov a little bit more, give him more time. Take it a little slower with Bjarnason, give him time to acclimate to the pro game as well. So on that front, it's working out well.
Well, Danny, go enjoy warm-ups, and then we get ready for Flyers Penguins. I got to say,
can't wait.
There's nothing better for hockey than these two teams being competitive again.
Absolutely.
It's right. It's the best thing going, right?
I know. I always say those were my favorite games. They were the easiest to get up with. You didn't have to worry about trying to get riled up for that game. Penguins and Flyers, those are the best. So I hope this keeps going.
Yeah, good stuff.
Thank
Danny
you,
Briere,
guys.
thanks for coming on the show
Thanks
today.
for having
Appreciate
me, guys.
you.
Thanks for hopping on.
Flyers General Manager Danny Briere here on Press Row Show. Snow the Goalie's Press Row Show.
That's right.
Yeah, good stuff.
There we go.
Good stuff.
About it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to unpack there.
Yes. Andrew, Kimmelman's coming on.
Thank you. All right, so we have Adam.
Adam's going to come on too.
This is one of those shows where we took a little break, right?
Yeah.
Home game wise. And so we decided to load up the first show coming back out of the break.
Yeah, bring everybody
We
back.
got Danny, And then we bring on a guy who like people absolutely rave about in the comment section every time he's on the show. NHL.com's Adam Kimmelman, probably the most knowledgeable human being when it comes to especially the pipeline and some of those guys. I mean, he spends a lot of time embedded with the prospects. And so he's always a guy that we like to bring on here and kind of give the more holistic view on the league and where the Flyers kind of stack up. So bringing him on right now. Adam, there he goes.
What's up, AK?
How we doing?
What's going on?
Good to have you back.
Adam Kimmelman is here. We are live on the Press Row Show. Kimmelman.
Yes.
I actually want to pick up where we left off with Danny.
Okay.
I don't know how much you get to watch the prospects in the college ranks and elsewhere. But Martone has made a really good impression. Nesbitt, it sounds like the reports, Danny was just saying the reports are really good on him, even if the numbers aren't quite there yet. And then the Luchenko trade, just what that means from a much larger perspective. I don't know how much you're getting to check those guys out, but thoughts so far.
Well, I think
in the season where they're at.
Well, let's start with Luchenko. He's on a wagon now. That team in Brantford, I believe. We talked to one of his new teammates, Caleb Malhotra. I was at the CHL USA Prospects game up in Calgary, and Caleb was there. He's a top 2026 draft prospect, and we actually spoke to him the day after the Luchenko trade came in. I said, hey, I guess you guys really needed some help. And his remark was, 3 overtime losses. The coaches were really worried. We needed some more. So it's a great trade. That team is, they have the 2 leading scorers in the Ontario Hockey League there, and Jake O'Brien, who's a Seattle prospect, and Adam Banach, who's a Minnesota Wild prospect. They have the leading goal scorer in the league there in Marek Vanacker, a Chicago Blackhawks prospect. So that team is the best team in the Ontario League by a wide margin, one of the best in the entire CHL, and definitely a Memorial Cup favorite. So Luchenko's jumping on board a really, really good team that he's going to make better, and he's going to get better from being around those guys. So it's definitely a huge help for him.
Does that just to that point, since he's part of he's a cog in a much larger functional wheel, does that allow him to maybe focus on some of those things that the coaches or that the front office might want him to, namely like putting pucks on net, trying to work on that scoring touch?
Well, yeah, and he has started that. If you look at the stats, he only has 2 goals this season, but he's shooting the puck significantly more. He was in Guelph before he left. I haven't seen it as much. I shouldn't say I haven't seen it. I haven't paid as much attention since in the handful of games since he's been in Brantford, but I'm sure those opportunities are going to come, and they're going to encourage him to do it the same way. Like, that doesn't change, right? The needs of what he has to do to become a full-time NHL player, that doesn't change no matter what uniform he's wearing at this point. So all the things he needed to do then, he still needs to do now. Does he need to make some adjustments to fit into whatever Brantford is style they're playing? Yeah, for sure, but he still needs to be the things he still needs to do the things he has to do to become an NHL player.
There's something I want to get to with Adam tonight, and he doesn't know I was going to ask this question.
Oh boy!
Surprise!
So I'm going to throw it at him. Right? I saw that you posted a video of you taking the walk across the Calgary catwalk.
Yes.
When you were out in Calgary for the prospect.
So it can go one of 2 ways. If you are afraid of heights, it is a nightmarish experience.
I've done it. I know.
And if you don't mind as much, it's actually kind of fun. It's very
cool.
old-fashioned. I made the remark, we were out at the prospect team, as I said earlier, and love anything as much as Western Hockey League rinks. Love catwalks to press boxes, because I was in Lethbridge at the Lethbridge Hurricanes home rink. Yeah. Same thing. It's not to that extent, but they also have a small catwalk you need to go out to get to the press box. I don't know. I guess it's a thing out there, but the one in Calgary, it's almost like a rite of passage that you have to, if you go there, it was my first time there, you have to go, you have to videotape yourself doing it, because you are above the scoreboard. You are hundreds and hundreds of feet above the ice on a very narrow, dark catwalk. I don't want to say rickety. I didn't hear it creak. Somebody did say they heard it creak. But number one, don't ever run across it.
No.
Don't do that. And don't spend too much time looking over the edge.
Yes.
But other than that, if you just go from point A to point B, like if you're not afraid of heights, it's not that bad. I put it up on my Facebook page if people want to find it there. Yeah. It is an experience. And it can be disconcerting if you've never done it. But here's the other thing. Like, I was in Hamilton, Ontario, the Cops Coliseum. I think it has a different name now, but they have something very similar where you were hundreds of feet above the ice, walking across the catwalk to get to your seat.
Coldest press box I've ever been
in Hamilton.
Cops Coliseum.
Yeah, it was. I don't remember that, but
Little
I just remember
space heaters. That's how they have warmed you up.
Okay, I don't remember that aspect of it, but I remember doing the same thing, the catwalk, hundreds of feet above the ice, looking down into the top of the scoreboard. It could be a little intimidating, but like, it's not like. And in Calgary, it's the oldest building in the league, and I'm not going to count Madison Square Garden because that place has been gutted to the studs and completely rebuilt.
Right. Yeah.
But and you can actually see where the new building is going up next door to the Saddle Dome. It's needed, but the building there, kind of much like the old Igloo, it's got some personality.
It does
I kind of like it.
I
liked. I was only there for one night, but I enjoyed the experience.
I don't know. Do the Syracuse Crunch still play in that same old?
Oh, the War Memorial
Arena.
I don't know. I can't say for sure. They
all-time
might.
coolest thing there is you had to climb a ladder to get into the press box.
What? Yeah, that's not.
You had to climb a ladder.
I would love to watch you climb a ladder.
Like an wrought iron ladder to get into the press box.
I'm glad you said that, Russ, and not me, but I was thinking it.
So did you see? So now here's the thing. I brought it up really to get to the conversation about hockey. Because
we were having a conversation about hockey, and I was asking the man about Martone and Nesbitt, and he was about to get there, and then
we could circle back. We could circle back. But the reason I wanted to, and I'm glad you mentioned Martone, because I remember last year when we were talking to you, and this is well before the draft. This was during the season because it was right here that you were talking about it, and we were asking you your opinion on some of these prospects, and you threw out the name Porter Martone then as a guy who really impressed you, and you thought would be a good fit for the Flyers.
For sure.
Right? So I honestly, we respect your take on what you're taking a look at. What did you see out there? Was there anybody that really stood out to you and you'd say, keep an eye on this guy?
There were a few guys that really stood out. Carson Carroll's a defenseman for Prince George in the Western League. There's a real calmness to his game that I really, really liked. That really stood out. Some poise that you forget he's 18. I don't think he'll never be an end-to-end carry it and go guy, although I think the talent is there. To me, he's more your all-around two-way guy who can chip in some offense, but he's a guy that you win with. That to me, it says what I need to know about Carson Carroll's. He's a guy that you win with. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think who else really stood out to me. Alessandro Diorio, forward from Sarnia, missed
Paisan.
Yeah, missed the first 6 weeks of the season. Missed the first 6 weeks of the season with an elbow injury. Still just hitting his stride. I think that was, including the games he's played so far, I think it was his sixth game that he played. Really flashy, real good offensive skill set, high-end player, very much a worker bee. A little Travis Konechny-ish. Okay. Doesn't have the pesty kind of quality, but I think it's in there. Yeah, nice player. He's a guy I really liked. Oh, goodness. I have all my notes back in my computer. There are a few guys. Like, it's going to be a pretty significant draft class. Caleb Malhotra, who I mentioned. Again, another guy, maturity off the charts. I mean, his dad is Manny Malhotra, played in the NHL for a long, long time. Coaches in Abbotsford in the American League. Was a definite standout to the point where I would be surprised if he wasn't a top 10 pick. He's a guy who really stood out. Mathis Preston plays for Spokane in the Western League. Is another guy who was impressive. Still needs a ways to go with his foot speed, but he's a guy that if it gets there, I think he could be a really nice player.
Good stuff. Now you want to go back to your
can we talk about Porter Martone?
Yeah, sure.
Dude looks like a stud.
I think he's acclimating very well to the college game. I'm not going to sit here and say I've watched every Michigan State game, but the highlights that I've seen, he looks about how we thought he would look. I think, and I had this conversation with somebody when I was out in Calgary. I think there was a perception that Gavin McKenna and Porter Martone and Caden Lindstrom and Roger McQueen, who rolled through junior hockey the last year or 2 years, would just do the same thing and steamroll the NCAA competition. And what they've found and what we've seen is NCAA hockey is at a far higher level than anyone really gave respect to. You're playing against older, more physically developed guys, 22 and 23 years old. And when you come in at 18, You're not playing against 17 and 16-year-olds anymore. You are playing against another level of competition, and that's why you're not seeing these guys dominate in that way. And did they maybe have a little disrespect for the guys they'd be going against? I think if you gave those guys some truth serum, I think maybe you would get a little bit of admission there that, yeah, we didn't expect NCAA hockey to be as difficult as it is. And it's an entirely different lifestyle. You're going to school. You are playing 2 days a week. You have to find time. You're not getting the every other day game like you would playing in the Western League or the Ontario League or the Quebec League. It's an entirely different lifestyle. You have to manage. You're living on your own without a billet family. Again, a very new experience. Like, living on your own is nothing new for these guys, but whether it's your mom and dad or somebody else's mom and dad, there's an adult supervision. When you're living in the dorms or you're living in an apartment with your teammates, it's an entirely different experience. You have to do your laundry. You have to cook your meals. You have to get yourself to class. You can't screw it up. There isn't somebody hanging over your head, knocking on your bedroom door and saying, let's go. You got to do it on your own. And again, there's so many different facets to it that on and off the ice that I think these guys are slowly starting to catch up. And I think what you're going to see is the talent is always there. Yeah. It's going to bubble up. A lot of these guys are going to go to World Juniors. They're going to get a refresher playing against kids their own age. They're going to build some confidence off of that because nobody doesn't think Gavin McKenna is going to go to World Juniors, have a monster World Juniors. Porter Martone's going to go to World Juniors and probably have a monster World Juniors. Those other guys are going to have opportunities to play for Team Canada or Team USA or whatever. And they're going to go and they're going to take all the good things that they learned and be able to really put it to good use and then come back to college and just hit the ground rolling and probably have better second halves than they did first halves.
I wouldn't say McKenna's had a bad start to the season.
No, I wouldn't either.
But I think, to your point, a lot of people expected him to go in there and kind of dominate college hockey. Do you think that the calculus on him as a player has changed at all from the perspective of NHL GMs at this point? Or do you think once they see World Junior, then maybe it kind of balances out?
So I've heard it a couple of different ways. There are some scouts who have said they don't like the body language. They don't like the play away from the puck. And there's others who have said, well, he's 17 and he's playing against 22-year-olds. Let's cut the kid a little bit of slack. We discussed it, myself and Mike Morial discussed this on our podcast, NHL Draft Class, because we saw some of the talk that Gavin McKenna isn't what we thought he would be. He's not the de facto absolute number one guy anymore. And I'm calling shenanigans on that. To me, he is still, until someone outplays him, he's the number one guy. Is he dominating? Look, here's the alternative, right? He stays in Medicine Hat. He's got 75 points in 30 games. Does that make him somehow a markedly better player than the point per game he's averaging now in college? Absolutely not. To me, it makes him better that he's having the season that he's having. Again, he's a 17-year-old playing against 21 and 22-year-olds, and he's still averaging a point a game. When last I checked, and I might be off a little bit on this, so please, Internet, don't kill me, there's not a single NCAA freshman with more points than Gavin McKenna. So you want to say he's having a quote-unquote down season? Look, I get it. The benchmark is Macklin Celebrini, right? Yeah. What he did 2 years ago or 3 years ago as a freshman, averaging close to 2 points a game, and that's great. But he might be an outlier as well, right? You see what he's doing at 19 in the NHL, well, now it all makes sense. So there's nothing that says Gavin McKenna, to your point, is going to go to World Juniors. If he goes and he has 20 points in 7 games at the World Juniors, you don't think he's going to take that momentum back to Penn State with him and just keep right on going? So, to me, he's still the number one pick. Now, if he goes to World Juniors and he has 5 points in 7 games, then maybe it becomes a conversation because then he's playing more against his peer group, and then maybe it's a little bit more of a discussion. But at this point, there's not a player that I would take ahead of Gavin McKenna, with the exception maybe of Ivar Stenberg, who's playing in Sweden, who's playing pro in Sweden and having a very good season. He's the only one that I would consider at this point putting ahead of McKenna. And even then, I would still say McKenna would be my guy. Again, at this point, could that change? Yes. But to now, it's still McKenna.
Flyers Penguins tonight, AK.
Should be a good one.
How good is it for the league to have these two teams be competitive again at the same time?
Oh, it's fantastic. From a league standpoint, rivalries sell. Rivalries sell tickets. They do clicks, they do tune in, games on NHL Network tonight. It's fantastic. And we have all been around long enough to know what a Flyers-Penguins rivalry can be like. It's funny, I was talking to Ryan Graves, Penguins defenseman, in the locker room this morning, and we were discussing about Sidney Crosby. He says, I remember the Crosby and Giroux going head-to-head in that 2012 playoff series. I said, yes, I covered that playoff series. I remember it quite distinctly. I don't know if we need that level of mayhem and chaos, but that was fun. That was a fun series to cover with remember the lead-in before it with Peter Laviolette and Tony Granato standing on the dashers, and then the series starts, and then you've got brawls with Voracek and Giroux and Letang and Crosby and Sid sitting in the locker room saying, I don't like any of those guys.
Yeah. Wasn't that also the same year that they accused Hartnell of biting Letang's finger?
I'm sure there was a lot of nonsense.
That was when he did the Hulkster thing with the fan.
I think that was,
right.
But that's the code of that series was Game 6 here, when Giroux famously skated over to the bench and said to Danny Bear and Max Talbot, watch this on the first shift, and he goes out and he lays out Crosby, steals the puck and scores in the first, 45 seconds of the game.
Yep.
And then Peter Laviolette after the game famously says, when the best player in the world tells you he wants to start the game, you let him go.
Yep.
And fans on both sides of that rivalry have never forgotten that, for both good and for bad.
That's correct.
But again, to your point, yes, when there are a lot of rivalries in this league, the original 6 rivalries, Boston-Detroit, Montreal-Toronto, put Philly-Pittsburgh right there with any of them.
Penguins called up Boko today.
Saw that.
You think there's anything to that? You got to remember, the last time that he was up for a Flyers game, he laid out Garnet Hathaway. Hathaway missed a month. This was last year with an undisclosed upper body injury. I don't know. Do you think that there's some ill feelings left over from that? Do you think that the Penguins call him up because they didn't like the way the Flyers did some things in the last time that these two teams played in October? Might we see some energetic competition tonight because of it?
Well, I'm wondering, how much the Flyers realized that Imama had been called up before they decided Nick Delorier was going to stay out with the extras this morning. And I wonder if that little tweak to the lineup gets changed and he comes in and maybe Nikita Grabbankin goes out. Again, not warm-ups is going on behind us right now, so I can't really tell. Yeah. But it wouldn't surprise me if Delorier goes in and Grabbankin comes out. Look, Maybe I'm a little bit of the minority where I don't need to see that kind of, center ice spotlight dance between two guys. I'd rather just see the game be the game. And if stuff happens, then, stuff happens in the natural flow of the game. I don't need to see the extracurriculars otherwise. So we'll see. Look, the game is going to be fun enough. It's going to be, physical enough without, nonsense without any sort of sugars or additives being added to it.
That's a question that I asked Danny. It's just in general, the lineup decisions that have been made so far, like year 3 of the rebuild. Grabbankin to me is a guy that probably should play more. Delorier's been in there a lot. I look at it and say, I think that you could probably figure out a way to rotate Delorier and Hathaway a little bit, and then maybe get Grabbankin in there every night. Are you kind of a similar thought process there?
I think to an extent, Hathaway kills penalties, where Delorier does not have a role on either side of special teams. So maybe there's your little bit of a hesitation as far as rotating those two guys, because if you take Hathaway out, somebody needs to pick up that special team, that penalty kill ice time.
And Grabbankin doesn't kill penalties.
Correct. Yeah. So, you need someone to go into that rotation a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I think, yes, in an ideal world, there is more ice time for Nikita Grabbankin somewhere, whether that continues to be a part-time player for the Flyers or a full-time player in a top 6 role for the Phantoms. I think decisions like that need to come. And someone mentioned Alex Bump before. I think that's another guy that, at a certain point, you need to see what he's capable of doing as an NHL player. It's a nice problem to have when you have that much skilled depth that you wanted to get NHL experience in a playoff race, which the Flyers certainly are in right now. So there's going to be some interesting decisions coming up here over the next few weeks.
Adam, I hate to kick you out, but I have another guest to come on the show.
You're big timing.
There's another guest coming on?
There's another guest coming on.
You're big timing,
you
mate.
didn't tell me that.
But no, this is a good one. You're going to like this. You might even want to stick around for it.
Okay.
So sitting over here, and he doesn't even know that I'm going to drag him on, but sitting over to Adam's left, so to the right of the people watching, is one of the Phillies broadcasters. It's Oscar Buddhahan, who does the Spanish language broadcast.
Okay.
I'm stunned that he's at a hockey game.
So we're going to boot Kimmelman.
I want to bring him on.
And offers probably the best insight about
he's
hockey.
the best. He's the best. I'm not knocking that.
And we're going to boot him.
But only because I want to ask
because
Oscar
you want to have a fanboy Phillies moment.
No, I want to have Oscar.
Adam, do you want to go do like
listen to what I'm about to say.
An alternative press row show over in
listen
press
to what I'm
row?
about to say. We're not going to talk baseball. I want him to do a hockey call in Spanish.
Why are you going to put the guy on the spot?
Wouldn't that be cool?
No.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Everybody says I'm the problem.
You are. Constantly.
People in the comments say that I take the show off the rails.
Listen, I think you guys are both the problem equally.
Right.
You share it.
That's true.
See that?
That's true.
That's what I'm here for.
Adam Kimmelman, NHL.com.
It was delightful having you.
Absolutely. I love
always.
it, guys.
Thanks, my friend.
Enjoy.
Adam Kimmelman, ladies and
gentlemen. Yes. Awesome. All right. This is great.
It's great to meet you. How's it going? Good.
Have a seat, my friend. Put the headphones on.
Tell them we're live.
We are live on the show right now.
Woohoo!
All right. Joining us, Philly Spanish language announcer Oscar Buddhahan. Oscar, what are you doing at a hockey game?
I don't know. It's too cold for me. Look at that. Look at my head.
Yeah.
It's too cold for me.
You needed a ski cap, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. I went to the chop, but I mean, I had to come up here and join you.
Yeah, I love it.
Come on.
What brought you to a Flyers game? What was the impetus to come to the game?
Well, my son has a girlfriend, and she's a Penguins fan, believe it or
not.
No!
So we came to bring it here to show her that the Flyers are better. So how about that?
I love it. That's good stuff. So how's your off season going? You kind of enjoying yourself? I know you do.
I'm doing the Eagles.
You do the Eagles too, right?
It's a drama every single day, but I mean they're 8-4, and we're like we play. I mean we're 8-4. But he feels like we're like 1 and whatever. I mean, 11. I mean, it's incredible how.
What is that broadcast booth been like the last couple of weeks?
It's been. It was disappointing. I mean, Friday was a very disappointing game. I mean, Black Friday, everybody was expecting us to do a great job. I mean, I was expecting truly the running game to get going because the Bears were not very good on defense, stopping the run. I was hoping that Barkley was going to be the big Barkley game, and
it was nothing like it.
It was nothing like it.
Yeah, nothing like it. All right, I don't want to take up too much of your time because you're here as a fan. You're here with your son and his girlfriend, and they're going to boo the hell out of her, Oscar. Just so you know,
absolutely. I'm booing her already.
Right. So just so you know, Flyers fans are not that bad except to Pittsburgh people. Pittsburgh fans get it a whole different level. At Flyers games.
I knew it.
But what I wanted to do, and I'm not going to put you on the spot because you do. Russ thinks I'm putting you on the spot, but he doesn't know that I already mentioned this to you. So, what I do want to do is I would love for you to Matvei Mishkov. He's the big Russian goal scorer.
Mishkov is the big guy.
Right?
I know
okay,
that.
Russian goal
big
scorer.
Goal
okay, all right. I just so the fans would hear because you don't get to hear hockey called in Spanish. I thought it would be neat to have Oscar do a Mishkov goal call for us on the show.
Oh my goodness! Okay, let's try to do this.
Yeah, here we go.
Let's try to do this. Konecki roba la pelota en la línea roja, viene por el lado derecho, entra a la zona de ataque, le pasa la pelota a Mishkov, gol! Gol! Flyers! Mishkov a volar!
Tell me that wasn't awesome.
How about that?
All right, was that fantastic?
Yeah. Hey, show that to the Flyers and see if they want me here.
Absolutely, Oscar. Absolutely fantastic. My friend, thank you for stopping by.
Real pleasure.
Enjoy the game.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to meet you guys.
Yeah, enjoy the game.
Okay, let's go Flyers.
There you go, Oscar. Oscar Buddhahan.
That's 3 pregame guests.
You do a German one now?
No, I will not. That's 3 pregame guests. We go away for like a week and a half without a home game, and we just jam-pack as many guests as we can in a pregame.
That was pretty cool, right?
It was. He's fantastic.
Thank you.
He is fantastic.
Yeah, he's the best. He's one of the best. He's one of the best guys. When I tell you, He's one of the nicest guys, one of the best people. I love talking baseball with him during the season. But he always asks me every game what's going on with the Flyers. He always wants to know what's going on with hockey. So just a gem of a human, awesome guy. I'm glad that he was able to pop up.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So where do you want to go next? I'm
probably to go get a tubular meat.
Yeah, I know. And the thing of it is that I was supposed to go talk to somebody and I didn't.
You can go talk. But I could vamp.
Oh no, what I think I'll do is I'll do it during intermission.
No, you could go over. Go ahead.
No, I'll
is it the person that I know you're supposed to talk to?
Yeah, I'll do it during intermission.
You can do it now. Go ahead.
No, I'll do it during intermission. That way Bundy's here to talk with you.
It's fine. Intern and I can handle it. He doesn't trust me, an intern.
I do trust you, an intern.
He doesn't trust us.
I do.
Intern. Can you believe this guy?
I can't, no.
He interrupts the flow of the show. He goes into business for himself. And now...
Hey, he wants more of the spotlight on him.
Well, I mean, it's just amazing. The things you have to deal with here on the Press Row Show. All right, so let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
About the Flyers. Y los Pingüinos de Pittsburgh.
You could now do an Oscar Buddhahan impression.
Nah, his voice is too low, although it is impressive. It was fantastic. Anyway, let's look at tonight.
Yeah.
Just in general terms, and then when Bundy comes on with his keys to the game and everything, we'll dive a little bit more into it.
Okay.
So I'm going to lie. I don't want to get to the Pingüinos yet. Let's go first to the guys in net, right? So Vladar's in net tonight.
Yes.
But I think we have to give a shout out here. I did this on the Russ Joy Show today, which you can find on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Sam Ersson won another game, and the man only wins in the shootout. But he has been sensational in shootouts so far this season.
Yes.
Can we just have a moment?
He had a good game.
I'm not saying we're here for moral victories and giving flowers just for the sake of it. It would be very easy for a guy like Sam Ersson, who was the number one goalie going into last year and was presumed to be the number one guy going into camp. You would think that you'd maybe understand on a human level if the guy was kind of feeling down about himself, and instead he's ready to play. Now he's had some bad games, but he's had some pretty decent games. Shootouts though, well, I mean, on one hand you go, Trevor Zegras is an automatic goal right now for the shooters, but it's Sam Ersson's kind of been like a guarantee to win a freaking shootout on the goal.
80% saves. Save percent. I mean, and
that's insane.
That's for breakaways. That's phenomenal. 80% save percent. So yeah, look, I've killed the guy, right? I wrote an article a couple weeks ago saying Flyers might need to move on from this guy. And
doubting Sam Ersson.
Yeah, I'm alone.
You'd never see that here on the Press Row Show.
I'm alone in that thinking. But you know what? You got to give them props when they're due. Look, 2 starts ago against Tampa, it wasn't his fault. I mean, they lose the game, but he only faced 17 shots. And the 2 goals that he allowed were not on him. The team was just terrible in front of him. So I don't even put anything to that. I thought he played really well against the Islanders. I thought he had a really good game overall. I think he saved their bacon a couple of times. That game could have gotten away from them. Even though they built the 3-0 lead and the Islanders came back. I didn't put that on Ersson there. And then the Islanders were pushing even harder after that. And I'm sitting there going, my God, this is not good. They're going to blow this game. And Ersson saved them. He played really, really well. And that 4-minute penalty kill, when Mishkov took the high sticking double minor, and then they killed that off. And he was the whole penalty kill was good, but he made a couple of really big saves in that 4-minute power play. Really deserves credit. It was good for him to have those 2 games. I think it kind of recovered from the malaise that he had prior to it.
I wanted to go out to a comment here really quick. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. However,
yeah.
Where was it? It was just here. I saw a bunch of people talking about potential trades and everything.
Well, here we go.
Vineet Singh says that over on TSN, they were talking about potential landing spots for Quinn Hughes, and it says 2 of the 4 panelists hadn't gone to the Flyers. Now, we didn't ask Danny about Quinn Hughes, and I know that there might be...
He wouldn't have been able to say anything anyway.
I know that there might be people out there going, why didn't you ask him? Because we know that he's going to trade for him. That's why. We didn't have to ask him. We know that Danny's going to pull off the Quinn Hughes. No, we don't have to ask Danny. The Flyers are interested in Quinn Hughes, as is every other team in the National Hockey League, if he becomes available.
And he's not going to become available right now. The Canucks may trade players here. You might even see a couple get moved prior to Christmas. Quinn Hughes is not going to be one of them. It's not the time for him to get moved.
I just have to imagine that I would say 85% chance Quinn Hughes is traded before the end of his deal.
Yes.
I just don't see a scenario where he wants to stay out there. Not that I think he doesn't like Vancouver. I just think that, like, all along, the belief has been that he would want to come back to the East Coast. His brothers play in New Jersey. Obviously, there's, like, fan fiction from the Devils side that, like, they're going to have all three of the Hughes there. I don't necessarily see a trade working out there. I think the Flyers just have a bevy of assets.
They do.
And so, like, I know that a lot of times people go, oh, you're overrating your own players. I think that they have some guys on this team, as well as some picks, that could absolutely get a deal done for Quinn Hughes. It's just a matter of, like, you and I were talking about this pregame. I think you would kind of want an acknowledgement or an understanding that if you were to trade for Quinn Hughes, that he would sign an extension here. You brought up a point pregame, though, that's kind of interesting about being able to negotiate and get an extension done.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot officially pre-negotiate an extension with the agent before you acquire the player. Like, that's considered, I guess it's considered tampering in some way, right? Because the player is not yours to negotiate with.
I guess if, like, Vancouver were to give, like, their blessing that it's okay, maybe...
No, it's not allowed.
Okay.
It's not allowed. So, and you're not allowed...
And as we know, front offices and agents never have conversations they're not supposed to have on official channels.
Isn't that like how Carolina kind of got screwed in the Rantanen thing last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
It's exactly how they...
Otherwise, they probably would have made the trade the first place, I would assume.
That is also correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's... You got to be careful with that stuff. And you got to ask yourself if Quinn Hughes looks at it and goes, yeah, that's where I want to be for the next 7-8 years, right? Or do I want to just, play out the next 2 seasons and then go where I want to go and see the kind of money that I can make? So it really comes down to the player. And that's not to say that he wouldn't want to play for the Flyers, or he obviously loves Rick Tocchet. He's got some friends on this team. He's really close to Trevor Zegras. So that there are some things you can sit there and go, oh, yeah, oh, okay, yeah, that adds up. 2 + 2 = 4 in Philadelphia, and the Flyers have a lot of assets that they can move. So it makes some sense. But is it the best offer that Vancouver's going to get? That's what it comes down to.
Sure.
Like, what are you giving up? I think it's a 4-for-1. I think it's 2
players and assets.
I think it's 2 NHL players. I think it's a prospect, and I think it's a first-round pick. I think it's that much for Quinn Hughes.
It's a number one defenseman, though. So
yes.
It's going to be a high price no matter what.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that the Flyers would be willing to part with that. Does Vancouver think that the Flyers have the best offer? That's what it's going to come down to.
Tune in to find out.
Yeah.
While we're on the blue line, I want to throw a scenario out to you. Okay. I have been very vocal for the last 2 years. It is time to trade Rasmus Ristolainen before he gets hurt and breaks down and can't be traded again. He's yet to play this season. It feels like they're getting close. They put Adam Yinning on waivers. He cleared waivers today. It would appear as though Risto might be coming back soon.
Yeah.
I would actually contend right now they don't need him. The blue line has played well to this point. I'm not exactly sure that I want to jostle things up. However, I have to acknowledge that Risto would be an improvement in some way, and you do have to, in theory, get him some time on ice to prove that he is a healthy, competent, functioning human being if you were to maybe be open to the idea of trading him. So let me ask you through that lens. They have not wanted to deal him because of the size, but after they've gotten to see what this blue line looks like right now, it's a pretty good, relatively young, dynamic blue line. Do you think that if he comes back and plays pretty well, that they would be more open to moving him than they have been in the past because of what they've seen so far?
It depends, Russ, in all honesty. So the one thing that you got to remember is defensive depth, you churn through it quickly. If there's injuries, like who's playing, right?
Sure. Yep.
Like, that's the thing. So, and if they're in contention and stay in contention, he makes them better. So they're not going to move him. I mean, is it potentially possible that you get to a point where you think that could be part of what you're doing to upgrade the position? Sure. I mean, everything's on the table.
Would you think of sliding him?
There's 3 players.
Okay, go ahead.
On this team
Bundy, hello.
Hello.
Who are not getting traded. 3.
Okay.
And that's Mishkov, it's Foerster, and it's Zegras.
How do you know that?
They're the 3 guys that they like the most.
Okay.
Right. Okay. They're probably not. You're not moving Sanheim because of the contract, no trade clause. Couturier's contract's not movable.
Konechny, you're probably not.
Konechny, probably not. But aside from that, anybody else is fair game in a big trade for a player of Quinn Hughes' caliber.
But you're gonna need Mishkov or Foerster.
I don't think so.
That's what they're gonna ask for.
They may start.
And you may have to really seriously consider it.
Yeah, and Martone's the other guy. That people are saying you can add Martone in. Yeah, I'm talking about who's currently on the roster, for sure. Martone's not going anywhere either.
So, Bundy, I was asking about the blue line and about Risto maybe coming back at some point before the end of the year here, the end of the calendar year. The blue line to me has looked pretty good, all things considered.
Yeah.
You don't probably want to blow up the chemistry. So I guess I didn't ask Ant this, but I'll ask you. If Risto gets back into the lineup, he's typically been a top pair guy, maybe a second pair guy. But because of the chemistry that's been built, would you look to get him incorporated on the third pair when he comes back to kind of play himself back into conditioning and everything? Or do you immediately look to...
Immediately, I think you start him in a lower role so he can work his way back into game shape. But he's not a third pair guy on this team. He's a second pair guy on this team, for sure. For absolutely 1,000%.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's no negotiation with me on that one. He's a top 4 guy on this team.
Yeah, he's probably a third pair guy on a better team, but on the Flyers, he's a top 4. All right, Bundy, we're running out of time here. Do you want to give your 3 keys?
Yeah.
You have them?
Yeah, I have them. Let me get them out here
All right,
again.
yeah. I just want to, I know this is a thing that you like to do, so...
3 keys to the game tonight.
Las llaves al partido.
Home cooking. The Flyers are coming off a great road trip where they went 3-1. It'll be important for the Flyers to get off to a really good start to this 6-game homestand and keep their record rolling in the right direction. First game of the homestand is always an important one. Flyers are 8-3-2 here at home. Number 2, special teams, specifically PK. Things got chippy the last time these two teams played. It'll be important for the Flyers to stay out of the box as Pittsburgh is clicking at 31.4% on their power play. An energized game will be important, but playing discipline will be as important. The team will want to keep the Pens off the power play. And the third and final thing, the forecheck and D-zone possession. Flyers will want to have an aggressive forecheck against the Pens. Getting on the defense that overhandles the puck and are prone to turnovers will go a long way in securing the victory. If the Flyers play a 2-1-2 forecheck, it will allow for turnovers and an opportunity to play in the O-zone, hang on the pucks, and make the Pens have to play defense in their own zone.
All right. So I'll go first for predictions. I think Dan Vladar has another good game. I get that the Pens have had – the last game wasn't great, but before that they were doing pretty well. I'm going to go Flyers 4-2 tonight.
What do you got there, intern?
4-2 Flyers was the number I had in my head as well. So I'll copy Russ again.
Bundy?
The way the Flyers are playing, I just don't see them losing to this Pittsburgh team. That said, I think it's going to be a little lower scoring than I'm going to go 3-2 Flyers.
Yeah, that was mine.
All right.
3-2 Flyers.
We have to have a conversation at maybe an intermission about where the predictions contest has gone, because it is.
I know you want to pat yourself on the back. We'll do it during intermission.
I mean, I'm just
Yeah, and I'll tell everybody why it's not that big of a deal. But we'll do that during intermission.
Mr. Poo Poo over here. All right, we'll be back. First intermission, second intermission, post game here on the Press Row Show. If you missed it, go back and check our interview with Danny Briere earlier in the game, plus Adam Kimmelman. All right, there goes Ant. You see him running? He's running. Run, Ant, run. All right, we'll talk to all of you. First intermission. Welcome into the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame, intermission, postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, and west of Albania. Bundy. It is a cross-state rivalry game, the battle of the Keystone State, and the Penguins have an early 1-0 lead, an uncharacteristic rebound by Dan Vladar, potted by a guy that a lot of people have heard of who plays for Pittsburgh.
Number 87, Sidney Crosby on the doorstep. Bad rebound by Vladar. Shot was taken from the point. It just bounced on him, and, of course, right onto the stick of 87. Like, that's never happened before. And the Penguins have a 1-0 lead in kind of a low-event first period for both teams. I mean, I didn't like the way the Flyers started. I wanted to see them get on the forecheck more, turn pucks over, make Pittsburgh have to defend their zone, and they didn't just do it. They just didn't do enough of that in the first period.
For those, by the way, for those who are concerned that Anthony SanFilippo is not here, we have a little bit of news. Anthony made a couple of comments on pregame that did not go over well, and so we have sent him home for the evening. Most notably, he sent Adam Kimmelman away to bring the Spanish language Phillies announcer on, derailed the hockey conversation, and we here at the Press Row Show cannot stand for that. So Anthony has it. No, I'm just kidding. Anthony's over he's having a conversation with somebody who might know some things about some things. So he might be here during the first intermission. He'll definitely be here second intermission and postgame. Bundy, we were talking to Danny Briere pregame just about Vladar. I think Vladar's, obviously been one of the guys that we've had probably the most focus on so far this season. And he admitted, they didn't totally see top 10 in save percentage and top 10 in goals against Dan Vladar. Pretty interesting stuff to see. I mean, obviously not a great rebound, maybe not the best time, but it happens. He's human after all. But Vladar so far this season,
he's been the runaway, not even close Bobby Clark Trophy winner. It's not even close.
Yep.
It's him, and then there's everybody else following behind the pack. He's been that good and that important for this team.
We were talking earlier as well about Sam Ersson, who's obviously not in net tonight, just about his ability to succeed in the shootout. We've both been around these teams, and this Flyers teams in recent years especially. Flyers used to be so afraid of the shootout, and now they've got two goalies that can go out there and actually get wins in shootouts. All of a sudden, between that and Zegras being an automatic,
looks
an automatic guy,
to me. Yeah, he does.
It really has kind of changed the way that you kind of perceive overtime and shootouts now versus in the past. We have not had the opportunity to chat about it. I figured now is probably about as good a time as any. Flyers went on that road trip, and I think the hope was, can you get to 2-1-1? Could you maybe get a win and a couple of overtime losses? Get some points on the trip. None of us had them going 3-1-0. What was your biggest takeaway from that 4-game roader?
I actually did have them going 3-1, I think. Didn't I I picked them at all three of the last 3 games.
But I'm saying, other than picking,
I think we all did, didn't we?
What?
Didn't we all go 3-1?
It's actually a good question. Let me see really quickly. I'm going to pull up the predictions. Anthony did not. Anthony had let's see.
I had Tampa.
Yes. You had Tampa. You went 4 for 4.
Yes.
Yes. You went 4 for 4. Intern went 3 for 4. He got the Devils game wrong. And Anthony went 2 for 4.
Wow.
Got the Lightning result incorrect, got the Devils result incorrect.
I'm not surprised at how the Flyers are playing. I thought for some reason, they match up well against the Devils. They just do. I don't know why. They seem to have their number. The Devils just don't play the kind of game that they were playing. I mean, look at Jersey tonight. They came out, they had a 2-0 lead over Columbus right away.
Yeah.
I think it's 2-1 now, but still, I mean, they really play. Jersey's a good team, and the Flyers have had their number. And then the Islanders, I mean, that was a wild game too. The Flyers just playing well right now, picking up points.
Should I tell the people where the standings are at right now in the picks?
Sure.
So Anthony went into the 4-game road trip in first place. He was tied with Intern Andrew with 15 points apiece. I had 12 and you had 10. The road trip threw things into disarray. Intern Andrew now leads with 18 points. Anthony and I are tied for second with 17 points. And you have 14. So it's anybody's game right now. And I'm coming off of 2 consecutive games of 2-pointers, which I thought had never been done before. Anthony claims that it has historically been done, and he wants to poo-poo on it when he gets back on the show. So as of right now, the picks contest is wide open. Allison, superfan Allison is out there keeping track of everybody's predictions on Twitter and on YouTube and such. And so I'm expecting that we'll get an update. I wonder if this Wednesday over at Chickies and Pete's over on Snow the Goalie Radio, if she will give us a call. Remember a few weeks ago, she gave us a call in with the updated standings. Anyway, we'll get back to tonight's Flyers-Penguins game in a little bit, but before we do, we have to go out to a man that everybody likes to hear from, especially in the first intermission. Intern Andrew is here with his stat of the night. Intern!
Yes, hello.
Hello.
So the Flyers' last game was Saturday, as you mentioned, against the Devils. Matt Michkov scored a goal in that game, which put him ahead of Peter Zezel. I always get that last name wrong. Peter Zezel for fourth on the Flyers' all-time goal list by a player age 20 or younger. Lindros, Gagne, and Mike Ricci, the three that are ahead of him. And then also that same day, the Penguins lost 7-2. Crosby had a goal and an assist. That was his 502nd career multi-point game. And he has if he has four more multi-point games, that'll put him ahead of Gordie Howe for the most ever by one player with a single franchise.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable stat, yeah.
I want to ask you a question, Intern.
Sure.
So Bundy and I and Anthony, I think it was our first or second week of doing Snow the Goalie Radio. We had a conversation about Crosby and about the fact that, there have been some years here where the Flyers haven't been competitive. The Penguins haven't really been competitive. The rivalry sort of lost some of its luster. And the question was kind of put out there. Do Flyers fans really hate Sidney Crosby the same way? Or do you look at it and say, well, he's solidified himself as an all-time great, and now you start to appreciate the guy's game? You were not part of that conversation, Andrew.
I think the Flyers fans love Crosby. I do. I think they appreciate the game he plays. I love that they boo him after he scored. But if you don't appreciate Crosby and think he's been an all-time great in the game, then you shouldn't be watching hockey.
So I before you even brought this up, right when we came back for the first intermission, Eeny, Meeny, You left a comment. I put it up for a second. I'll put it back up. He said, I don't even hate Crosby anymore. Maybe go as far to say I don't mind him. Crazy to say I like him, ?
Yeah. I mean, he's been a great representative of the game. When you think about it, he's grown up a lot since his early years.
Yes.
That's 20 years ago. I
He was
gave it to
hateable
him.
as a young guy.
Hateable, completely hateable. But I think he's totally been the ambassador this game's needed, has wanted, and he's carried himself tremendously well through his career.
Yeah, I think you just appreciate the greatness. With him and growing up watching him and Ovechkin both at the same time has just been unbelievable how good they are.
Do you know who Derek Jeter is?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Who did he play for?
The Yankees?
Okay. I'm just making sure, because when he actually was done, the Boston Red Sox Fenway Park gave him a standing ovation.
I remember that. Yeah, that was his last game.
Yes, in Boston. They gave him a standing
You
ovation.
think I knew who Derek Jeter was?
Dude, I think there's a lot of things you don't know.
Derek Jeter?
After the Forsberg thing last year, dude, that was pretty much it for me.
You know what? That's fair. But it wasn't like I didn't know who he was. I just didn't know the Flyers drafted him. Well, yes. Yes, I'm familiar with Derek Jeter. He was number 2, played shortstop.
Derek Jeter.
Number 2.
I think it's really hard at this point to... You know what? There's part of me that wonders if So I think there are two things that humanized Crosby, okay? One, the concussion issues and coming back from it. Mm-hmm. I think that even if you hate a player, you have to acknowledge how hard that is to come back from and find the same kind of success that he has. That's one. Two, he hasn't exactly lived a charmed life in terms of teams that have been built around him. Yeah, he has multiple cups that he worked his ass off to win. But these last 4 years, 5 years, I mean, it's not exactly like they've had a cup contender surrounding him. And so it's almost like, to some extent, I don't know if it humanizes him a little bit, but it's like, all right, at least he's not somebody that's always been like on a front-running squad. And he certainly has had the opportunity at different points to maybe even leave Pittsburgh and go off to a team that's more loaded. And he stuck to his guns, and he stuck to the team that drafted him.
Yeah.
And you don't see it a lot.
No, and I mean, he's given them just an unbelievable discount, too, to come back and play at that number $8.7 million a year.
Yeah.
Can't get away from that 87. You got to thank that.
Well,
your lucky stars for that.
You're saying all those things about Crosby. That literally fits exactly Mike Trout, who you hate.
Because Mike Trout's a bum.
That's exactly what Mike Trout has dealt with in team-wise in his life.
Mike
Trout's been injured more in his life than just what any other player I've ever seen.
Mike Trout didn't elevate his team.
I'm so sick of hearing
Mike Trout
about Mike
didn't win a
Trout
championship.
comparisons.
Okay, but
What's he ever won?
A football in the end zone that an Eagle gives
Won
him
MVPs.
when his team isn't playing in the playoffs because he's not a needle mover.
Okay, so he never elevated the interest. Did Ohtani?
Ohtani made them relevant.
Not really.
Ohtani was a stud when he was in Anaheim, and he couldn't wait to get away from those losers and go to a real team.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's
Trout
Trout's
had the
fault.
opportunity to go to the Phillies, to the Yankees, to the Red Sox, to the Mets, to any team in relevance in the Northeast, and he chose to die in obscurity out in godforsaken Angels land.
Yes, the team that drafted him. Whatever.
Loser energy. Loser energy.
It would have been great if he came.
If
to
Mike
Philly.
Trout wants to come on the show, he's welcome to. I won't be here for it.
Hell, he's always got time to do Philadelphia things. He's at the football game every week.
Getting the ball.
That's true.
Getting the ball. God forbid you give a touchdown. You know what? That's the one beautiful thing about the Eagles being so bad at scoring the football at home, right? About not being able to find the end zone. We don't have to watch them give the damn ball to Mike Trout. Oh, there's little kids in the end zone. Nah. Give it to the guy that got like a $500 million contract. Yeah, he's
That's a
you
fair
know,
point.
ridiculous. You bring up the name Mike Trout, and for that, you're removed. We'll see you in the second intermission, intern. He's on probation. Got to have a better name
I'm
to bring up
surprised you knew
than
who
that.
Jeter was. Are
I'm
you?
not.
No?
No, everybody knows who Jeter is. Now, who? All right, here, I got one for him. Hold on, I'm going to bring him back on.
Probation lifted?
No. Who was a shortstop of the Red Sox during a good chunk of the Jeter tenure?
Nomar Garcia Parra.
All right, so he actually, probation lifted.
Thank you.
All right.
They thought he was Jeter, too, for a while.
They did.
If you actually look at the numbers, though, statistically, he's better than Jeter in most of them.
All right, kid, whatever you want.
Hold on. Look at his stats in every.
I'm muting him. I'm muting him. Go ahead, make
Look at his stats in everything
All
other than
right,
singles.
there,
He's better
champ.
than Jeter is.
You got it. Got it.
Look at the numbers.
All right.
We're gonna have to ask
I'll look at
Anthony
him.
away from this. You know, baseball. So did you know? So pregame, legitimately.
So you're making a case that Nomar is as good as Jeter?
Yeah, I think that the metrics, you can make that argument. People hate when we talk about baseball on this show, so
That's why they hate it, because you make a knucklehead comment like that.
look at his numbers.
I
I'm
don't
telling
care
you.
about his numbers. You have to. Intangibles are everything. What
Okay.
you do when you do it.
Yeah, okay, fine. He had better intangibles. Great. Congratulations, Derek.
You know, Torts is here, and we always love when Torts is here. So still waiting for Giroux to curate his official goodbye to the Philadelphia and Flyers fans. Mekhi Becton took out a full-page ad when he left in the offseason
Yeah,
to go
but
out
he
to,
won.
to
He
go
won
to
a
the Chargers.
Super Bowl here
He was here for a year, and he took out a full-page ad.
because he won a Super Bowl. You have to. If you win, you can do whatever you want.
No, I'm just saying that
Right, but that's why he did it, because he won a Super Bowl and he was moving on.
Good
Thanks
on
to
him.
fans. Of course, if
the
you
Eagles
win, you
could
want
use
to.
Mekhi Becton.
Yeah,
they
they
could.
could use some guys right now, yeah.
Could have used your son-in-law.
My son-in-law's team is hurting real bad right now.
You should have done a better job of getting your son-in-law to play in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I didn't happen.
Would have been a big improvement here. Massive. All right, anyway. Intern, goodbye. We'll bring you back.
That was a rough first intermission for Intern.
You know what?
You know.
Intern hasn't been the same since you told him you're going to shave his head. But people have been in on the idea of shaving Intern Andrew's head for charity.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to see him get his head shaved. That'd feel kind of bad. Like, what if he
Oh,
looks?
he'd look
What if he
sharp.
looks terrible bald?
No. It's not going to be bald. I'm going to leave him a little bit like Whisker, like a little bit. It's going right down to the wood.
I think he'd have to commit to like trying to grow facial hair for it, though. I don't know if he could go.
Can he grow? You might want to grow a beard beforehand.
That's the thing. If you go bald and you have no facial hair, you really better have a good-looking bald head.
Because we will have him looking like Mr. Gazoo.
As long as he doesn't look like Uncle Fester. All right, so, Bundy, it wasn't exactly the most eventful first period. Both teams had 8 shots on goal. Vladar makes an uncharacteristic error, but he's human. What do the Flyers have to do here that they didn't do successfully in the first period to try to get things back on track?
Establish a forecheck and hang on to the pucks in the offensive zone. You know, just stretch things out a little bit like that. But get in on guys like Letang and Carlson. They'll turn pucks over. I know they want to make plays. They want to jump up in the rush. But you can get on those guys and have a better forecheck established in the second period. We got
I had a thought and I lost it.
We got some pledges coming in for the
Here we
haircut.
go. Here we go. Fawcett says maybe $100 pledge.
Oh, that would be great if Andrew Fawcett dumped 100 into this bad boy.
Philip Albert says $50.01 is his pledge. If Andrew is pledging 50, so will Greg Mack.
Yeah, this is happening.
That's $200.01. Craig Bondarenko says another $100 to have Bundy shave his head. Bondarenko wants a head shave too for $100.
I want to answer Rob Dog 881's question.
All right.
If Vladar plays consistently all season, does he become part of the Vezina conversation? He's got to already be part of the Vezina conversation right now. As it stands right now, he'd have to be with the wins he has and how he's turned the team around. Absolutely.
I guess that is ultimately gonna. Maybe we talk about that in the second intermission. He's like top 10 in both of the key metrics you look at.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you also look at, I guess the expectation of where this team would be. Right, or where people thought they would be versus where they are now.
Where do you think this team would be without Vladar?
Under 500. Yeah, I think they'd be sub 500. And I don't mean fake hockey 500 with the overtime losses. I think they'd be under 500.
Yeah.
What the 15, 7-1, 16, 7. No, it's game number 25 tonight. I think they'd have 8 wins.
They're
14-7-3.
They've come back 10 times this year, and they've been treated to outstanding goaltending.
10 comeback wins is, you say, hey, good job, guys.
That's a season.
That's like, hey, you have some chutzpah and you never give up. It's not a sustainable model, however.
It's not.
That's not great.
It's not.
This would need to be the 11th come from behind win of the year.
It will be, and it might be. They do relish in the fact when they're down. They love coming back in games and staying with it.
Speaking of relish, you like relish on a hot dog?
Yes.
Do you?
I do.
Sometimes. Have you ever had the relish over here in the press box?
I haven't, no. I haven't, but I do like relish once in a while on a hot dog, just to treat myself. Usually ketchup and mustard.
Yeah.
But when I
ketchup and mustard.
Yeah.
You go yellow, or do you like to go the spicy deli?
No, I like the regular yellow mustard.
I like the spicy yellow.
I like
the spicy deli mustard. All right, well, hopefully that got you got your taste buds scintillated, whatever the word is. We'll be back during the second intermission.
Cheaters
hopefully
better
Anthony will be
Mark.
back here. I heard Anthony has updated on a Flyers trade. I'm just kidding. I don't think that's true. Maybe it is. Talk to you soon. Welcome to the Xfinity Mobile Arena, the XMO, for the Press Row Show, second intermission. The Press Row Show is the number one rated pregame intermission postgame show on the side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, and west of Albania.
What happened? I went away for a period, and then I come back, and
the wheels
came off.
Not ideal. There's a guy on the ice, Sidney Crosby. He's a pretty good player. Should consider having an eye on him at all times. Overall, though, not a great period for the Flyers, but a terrible call.
Oh,
a terrible call end the period. Emil Andre has the sticks shattered, and then he goes into the corner.
Yeah, but he broke it himself, though. He took a shot, and it shattered. Right?
He goes into the corner to go try to compete for the puck, and they call a penalty.
But what do you expect, Russ? The refs gave the Flyers 2 5-on-3s.
Yeah.
They're not going to do them any favors. If anything ticky-tack that even looks obscure, they're going to call it. That's the way the game's ref today.
But I hate it, too. I hate that.
Well, of course you do. And I hate it, too. But that's just what's going to happen. They're not going to...
Yeah, I don't agree that it was interference because you have two guys going for the same puck in the corner. Like, you're allowed to body a guy. You're allowed to fight for the positioning for that puck.
Yeah.
It's not like he interfered with that guy so somebody else could get it.
No, I agree. It was a bad call.
Right? It's a bad call. Right, so that's the thing.
We said it was a bad call. However, it was a bad call, and you weren't here for it. We'll ask you really quickly, and then we'll get back to hockey.
Yeah.
In the first intermission, one of the worst calls of the year potentially. Intern Andrew tried to make the case that Nomar Garcia is as good or better than Derek Jeter. You're the baseball aficionado here on the panel. Whose side are you taking? Intern Andrew and Nomar Garcia or Bundy and Derek Jeter?
If I can have one guy for their whole career, I'd take Derek Jeter.
Thank you, Anthony.
Well, yeah, he played longer, was my point. At their prime.
Nothing to do with No. So Garcia was a better hitter, but he was not a very good defensive shortstop. Jeter was sensational defensive shortstop.
But, okay, I say this. Bases loaded, bottom of the ninth, 2-2 game. Who do you want at bat, Jeter or Nomar?
He just said Garcia was a better hitter.
One guy is just super clutch. There's just something about the one guy that makes him different than everybody else.
Yeah, Garcia had like 6 great offensive years, but that's it.
Right, and he got hurt.
Yeah, fell off.
They won when they traded him.
Speaking of getting hurt, Tyson Foerster went right down the tunnel.
Not good.
Took a shot.
Oh, that was
immediately
bad.
Clutched his arm. It looked like a shoulder. Obviously, he had the issue with his elbow this offseason. That did not look good.
No.
Bunny, what goes like when you see a guy take a shot like that and immediately clutch the arm, your immediate reaction is what?
Dislocation. As soon as I saw that, the way he shot the puck and then immediately dropped the stick, grabbed his shoulder, you could tell when he wound up to cork it, he might not have gotten all the puck like as he was shooting it, and it just, if you miss something and get a little bit of air, you can pop out your shoulder. It happens so fast, and like Anthony said, sometimes you can pop them back in. You can, but it doesn't mean you'll be available the rest of this game.
No, he's definitely. I got the update already.
Yeah.
He's out for the game. They called it an upper body injury. I mean, it's obvious to all of us what happened, right? That said, it's one of those instances where you don't know the damage until you really look at it, right? I mean, like, it could be one of those things where you pop it back in and, in a couple days he feels fine.
Right.
Or it could be something that
could be a couple months.
Could be a lot longer, right? I mean, it's one of those injuries that you don't know.
Yeah. You need shoulder surgery. I remember John LeClaire one year, he was my roommate, beginning of the year in Pittsburgh. He got a hit into the boards shoulder first. That was it for his season. He was gone for 6 months after that.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope it's not going to be that bad or that lengthy of a timeout.
Yeah, that would be a big loss. I mean, he's been really, really good for them.
Somebody did ask in the comments, did Danny Briere jinx it? Because pregame he said, we were talking about
knock on
Grabbankin.
wood, and he said
knock on wood,
haven't had
very
injuries.
healthy. And that,
I know.
If there were an injury, Grabbankin would probably get more time, and here we are.
Oh, man. That would be awful.
And Foerster's had such a good year.
Yeah, he's played
well lately.
And it really feels like it's been something of a breakout for him. And so hopefully it's precautionary and it's not a long-term injury. Now, I guess now is probably about as good a time as any to bring on to the show somebody who might have an injury in his brain with the Garcia Parra take, but we'll still give him another opportunity to come back in. And we'll give him a chance. And not only are we going to bring him on, but we're going to play him a little song to welcome him to the show.
Romo's better than Aikman too, right, Andrew?
As we head out to trivia time with intern Andrew. Gentlemen, get the instruments ready. 1, 2, skiddly diddly do.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
That was not a very eventful one.
So Rick Tocchet, the current head coach of the Philadelphia Flyers, early in his coaching career was actually an assistant for the Penguins.
Yes.
He's the only Flyers head coach that was ever also an assistant coach for the Penguins, and I'm not including Mike Yeo because Mike Yeo was only an interim here. Can you name the one guy in history that was at one point the head coach of the Penguins and was also an assistant coach here?
Head coach of the Penguins.
That was an assistant here.
It was an assistant here.
That's a good trivia.
Was he the head coach of Pittsburgh first?
Yes.
I'm racking my brain on this one, Bundy.
What era?
2000s, this century.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
It was a Penguins head coach. That was a Flyers assistant coach.
He then later became
whatchamacallit? The French Mike.
Michel Therien?
Michel Therien.
Oh, yeah.
He had a big head.
That's Therien with 2 R's.
Right,
by the way, no relation.
No relation.
That guy had a big dome.
No, yeah, I couldn't.
That's a gigantic dome. Big head.
He's the guy that had a job here with Pittsburgh, and they fired him right before the deadline there. Right and around that time, they brought in Mike Sullivan, and they won the cup.
He's the guy that had a really bad relationship with Briere in Montreal.
Yes, he did.
It was bad.
Yeah,
it was bad. When Danny went to Montreal, and he
used to walk around like he created the game. That Therien.
Yeah,
he did. It was really embarrassing.
Yeah, I know he was not liked by the Penguins, the young Penguins in Wilkes-Barre. He was the head coach down there in Wilkes-Barre Scranton the year the Phantoms won the Calder Cup that I covered, and Therien was the head coach of the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, and those guys hated playing for him. He was one of those coaches.
Yeah.
Did he have a good relationship with anybody?
No, everybody.
Not until he was an assistant. Because I remember asking him when he came here as an assistant coach. I remember asking him.
Was that under AV?
Yes, it was under AV.
It was AV, and it was Therien and Yeo, right?
Yes, and I remember.
And they were like flipped. Like one should have been the power play coach, but instead he was the PK guy, and the PK guy should have been the power play coach. Yeah, it made sense.
Yeah, and I remember asking him what he felt about being an assistant, because usually the assistant coaches are like the good cops when the head coach is the bad cop. And he said it was nice to have guys like him for once. I remember him saying that, which actually was pretty funny. But yeah.
You don't have to have one of those jobs and be hated. Like, what's the point?
Correct.
Right. Yeah.
What's the point? Like, look at Torts. You coach all those years and everybody hates you you ever coached.
It's the Herb Brooks school.
But Herb Brooks, like, I don't know, maybe they lied in the movie Miracle, but everybody seemed to like Herb Brooks.
Yeah, I mean, but his MO was to get them to not like him so that they could like each other, because he was bringing kids together who
I get it.
Played against each other. It was a little bit different. It was a little bit different mentality in that, right?
Yeah.
So it's good. That's a good trivia question.
Thank you.
It's a good trivia question. Andrew brought his game tonight, unlike the hockey team right now.
That's not great.
Yeah.
Not a great one.
Yeah, you know who's also not had the greatest night? Dan Vladar.
No, he's had an off night. He's let a couple in that he's usually. But you know what? He's made a couple of great stops
too.
He
has.
Yeah.
But he's the one thing I like about him is he doesn't usually give up big rebounds, and he's given up a few rebounds tonight. Like the first Crosby goal was a puck that he should have caught.
It was juicy,
right? And it was a little bit juicy, right? And he's had a couple other rebounds that were not put in for goals, but that were in dangerous spots. He had that one that got through him, right? That period down that end, it got through and just went wide of the net. Like, he's certainly been less than stellar.
He's allowed to have an off night.
Sure.
but
every player is allowed to have an off night. You know, you're not gonna kill him because he had one rough game, but it's not been his best outing so far, in my mind. All right, Russ. What do you, I know you got the thing up over there that you want to tout the fact that you had the exact score 2 games in a row.
Nope, not doing it. That would be uncouth. That would be braggadocious. I would never do such a thing.
Even though you suggested you were going to talk about it before the game?
We might have already talked about it in the first intermission.
Russ, what was one of my keys of the game tonight?
Penalty kill.
How's that going? Not going too good tonight.
No, it's not.
I said it. The Penguins have the best power play in the league.
It's like 31%.
32%. Something like that. Crazy.
So I guess you already brought this up?
What, the standings? Yeah, we talked about it.
Oh, okay.
You're in second.
Yeah, it's all right.
Tied with me. I remember before we left for the road trip, Ant was he was talking some big game. Got a little bit humbled here in the last few games. That's okay.
Can't get them all right.
That is true. Unless you're Bundy. Bundy's on a 4-game heater.
Yeah, it's good.
I will say, like in the grand scheme of things, all right, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In the last 9 games, I've gotten 8 correct. In the last 9 games, Andrew has 7 correct. And Bundy has 6 correct. And you have 5 correct. So it's been, so far it's kind of been like a tale of two halves a little bit on the predictions.
Yeah, that's great. It's not that hard to get the score correct 2 games in a row, though, which you were crowing about.
Well, it hasn't happened very often.
Didn't Russ mess up the other one, though? Wasn't it 5-3 one game and you thought you wanted it 4-3?
No, I was right. Anthony was wrong.
I misread the tweet. I thought you had 4-3.
Yeah.
It was 5-3. I misread the tweet. I thought it was Russ. But I mean, he was in our text group. He was like going off about how unbelievably rare this is to get the correct score right 2 games in a row.
Oh, both those guys have the Flyers 4-3 tonight, don't you?
Yeah.
So they're in perfect position to do that.
No, we had 4-2.
4-2.
I will point out that last year it did not happen a single time.
No, it happened once in the first season.
First season, it did. It was, I did it on December 12th and 14th at Nashville and home against Washington.
And then
Anthony did it February 12th and 15th, 2024, Seattle and Arizona at home.
Yeah. So
it happened 2 years ago twice.
Yeah.
It did not happen last year.
Yeah.
First time it happened this year.
But my point, my argument is this. So when we make picks, right, nobody ever picks a shutout, correct?
Very rarely.
Nobody picks a shutout. Let's be honest.
Let me see how many zeros are on the board.
I'm pretty sure if anybody, you did it once.
So my first year, I predicted a shutout. I remember they were playing the Islanders. I said 3-0 Islanders. And I correctly predicted that the Flyers would get shut out, and I still lost. Because that was the game that was 0-0 going to the shootout.
Yeah, none of us have picked a shutout this year.
Yeah, so so nobody's going to pick a shutout, right? Okay. Even one goal sometimes. I mean, you get a few ones, but not many, right? And then we're normally picking, except for when you go way off the board and pick 6 goals to be scored. Normally, you're picking a team to score 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5, right? So what are the permutations and combinations on that? There's only 4.
I didn't know there would be math tonight.
Well, no, but my point is it's not as ridiculous as you wanted to make it seem. Like it was so hard to do. It's hard to do in the sense that you got to get the score right, but at the same time, there's only so many scores for us to pick.
Anthony SanFilippo takes the time machine, goes back to biblical times, looks at Jesus 3 days after, and says, it's not that impressive. Lazarus once rose from the dead, too. I mean, it happens every so often. It's at least twice in the same book.
There you go.
Not that special.
Yeah. There you go.
Captain Poo-Poo over here. All right, Bundy. I'm not going to ask you what the Flyers need to do in the first 5 minutes of the third period, because quite frankly, the first 5 minutes aren't as important as they usually are. They need to play a full 20 minutes.
Well, they got to kill this power play. The beginning of the power play, Penguins got some
like
power play
40,
time.
45 seconds
Something
left.
like that, yeah.
So they've got to kill the penalty. You got to get one back in the first 10 minutes or so of the period, I'd say.
Yeah.
Then you can get another one if you have to empty the net. The good news for the Flyers, you mentioned this, I think first intermission, right? 10 come from behind wins so far this season. If the game were to go to a shootout, the Flyers are absolutely deadly there. I mean, all hope is not lost. It hasn't been a great game. This hasn't exactly been like a game where the ice has been slanted heavily in one team's favor, however. Just been some boneheaded plays.
Yeah, it's been a disjointed hockey game. It really has. There's not been a lot of flow to it. I said you got to keep the Flyers off keep Pittsburgh off the power play. The Flyers have not done a great job of killing penalties, so they're going to have to really pick that up and get this killed here. You don't want to give Pittsburgh the fourth goal right away, or it could be lights out.
I'm a little bit of a jinx myself tonight. I really thought this was going to be a spirited game, Bundy. Both sides.
It's a dud.
Yeah, I thought these two teams were going to come out with a bunch of fire and brimstone. Like these two teams are battling for playoff positioning. They've kind of both surprised some teams a little bit. The last time they played, there was a little bit of animosity. Right back in the end of October, we had that wild ending where both teams thought they won. And then there were reviews and took the goals away, and then it went to a shootout. And the Flyers won the shootout. So there's been, I kind of thought it would have a lot more energy to it, and it has had very little.
Yeah, there hasn't been even a lot of hits in this game.
No.
Yeah, it's been kind of a no-hitter, which it's weird. You expect it in like an emotional game, and it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Circling back to what we started the intermission with, the Bundy Jeter versus Intern and Nomar Garcia-Parra. I put it on Twitter. Who's correct? Bundy picking Jeter or Intern picking Nomar Garcia-Parra? 90.3% of voters responded Bundy and Derek Jeter.
Well, because 90.3% of people are intelligent.
I would like to know who the 9% of the morons are.
I just meant that stretch of time from 97 to 2003, Garcia-Parra was a better player than Jeter.
You mean when Jeter was winning all those World Series every year?
Yes, he was a better player.
Yeah, right. You named it right there, 97 to 2003. You just said, what, he win 4 or 5 rings in that term?
He's a better player.
See you all postgame.
That silly podcast.
What happened there? What happened there? What happened there? What happened there?
That silly podcast. That silly podcast.
welcome into the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator, and west of Albania. Not a good game tonight. Flyers fall 5-1. We are going to try for the first time this season to bring on Anthony SanFilippo with his thoughts postgame. Anthony, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm fantastic, Russell. I am slowly walking to the elevator just so you can test this amazing technology that you decided to try 1 minute before the end of the period.
You like that? Anthony, are you going to go ask about Tyson Foerster's shoulder situation?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things we're going to do down there is figure out how serious the injury is for Foerster. I can't imagine that we'll get a big update on that. I'm pretty sure we'll probably get the standard. We don't know enough yet. I'll have to get some testing done tomorrow, and we'll have an update then. So I think that's probably going to be what we're going to get. But I don't expect much out of this post-game, guys. It was a real stinker of a game for the Flyers, and they'll just try and flush this one and get back at it on Wednesday.
You have anything for the man there, Bundy?
No, nothing at all, Anthony. Good job going down there. That looks like a full-blown potato cam.
It's the lighting, really.
Lighting, okay.
It's the lighting. So he says.
So.
Got to get Maria to get a new phone for the guy. Maybe for Christmas. Chris Mahana Kwanzaa is coming up.
Yeah. All right. I'm on the elevator. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye, Ant.
Bye, Ant.
See you.
All right. So there we go. Hey, for the first time ever, we were able to get audio going through the headphones. Hey, it took us 3 years, but I finally poked around on the touchscreen over there enough, and we're good. The reason that we're bringing this up is because there's not a whole lot to talk about in tonight's game, Bundy. It was a bad effort.
Flyers came out flat. They stayed flat through the game, and as a result, they got pounded 5-1 here by Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh did a lot of little things really well in this game. They defended well, much better than I had expected them to do. Letang sometimes and Carlson just don't pour it all in defensively, and they can get themselves in trouble. That being said, the Flyers didn't expose Pittsburgh for anything tonight. They didn't have a forecheck going. They didn't really have any sustained pressure in the offensive zone. And their goalie, for the first time in quite a while, their goalie let them down tonight.
Yeah. There was a goal that was taken off the board for goalie interference. It could have been 6-1. And actually, when that goal came off the board, it would have been it looked like 4-1.
Yeah.
And then they took the goal off the board, and you go, all right, 3-1. I think there was still 9.5 minutes left or whatever at that point. And you go, all right, get one in the next few minutes, then go empty net with 2 minutes left, and there's still a chance. We know this team has been good in overtime. They've been sensational in the shootout. And you just kind of say to yourself, all right, this Pittsburgh team has had some good moments. They're not necessarily a juggernaut. You should be able to get yourself back into it. It just never felt like the Flyers got things going. I don't know how much of it had to do with Foerster going out when he did. The reaction on the bench was pretty rough at that point. I think everybody kind of knew something was off. He's been a big energy guy for them. He's been a big contributor in terms of scoring. So it has to be a blow to your psyche at least a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
We see that.
That would have been a tough injury to see how long Foerster's out for, if at all. You never know. Those shoulders, sometimes you can dislocate them and they go back in the socket and you're fine a couple days later. So I hope that's the case, but that did not look good. He grabbed that shoulder right away and immediately went up the tunnel.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good sign that something pretty bad happened.
It looks bad. Hopefully it's not. I see the question there from Chris asking Ersson on Wednesday. Your thoughts there, Bundy?
Probably. Yeah, probably. They're playing Buffalo. Buffalo, you don't know who's going to show up when you play Buffalo.
Yeah.
They can either come out and they beat you 7-2, or they end up beating them 8-3. You just never know. And then Buffalo was beating, or at least they might have beat Winnipeg 5-1 tonight in Buffalo. Winnipeg.
Wow. Winnipeg.
Yeah. So Buffalo looks like they're got their stuff together right now.
This was the first game of a 6-game home stretch.
Yeah, you always want to get that first one.
And especially against your cross-state rivals, not an ideal game tonight. Not only did you watch Sidney Crosby look really good, but the final goal of the night is scored on a breakaway. Kevin Hayes' fingerprints were all over that goal. Man, I'll tell you, there's not a whole lot to see there.
No, there's not a lot left in that tank, but he ended enough left in the breakaway to backhand one past Vladar.
Flyers take on the Sabres on Wednesday, as you mentioned. Then they are home on Sunday. It's a 1:00 start against the Colorado Avalanche. They then host the Sharks on Tuesday, the Golden Knights on Thursday, and the Hurricanes on the following Saturday. Now, the Golden Knights game is interesting because I believe Carter Hart is about to join.
Tomorrow night he's playing. think he's starting tomorrow night.
So there is a chance that next Thursday night, Carter Hart could be in net at the Xfinity Mobile Arena.
Possibly.
I would imagine that reception will be of note.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on it and see if they play him here. They may not play him here just to not play him here.
Yeah. So we will be back at it. Now, a programming note for those who are interested in such things. On Wednesday night, we are going to be doing our regular Snow the Goalie radio. However, it will be at the Chickies and Pete's in South Philly, right barely down the road here. That's going to be a 5 o'clock start. We'll be doing it at Chickies and Pete's, South Philly. Come on out, talk some puck, and then we'll come across the street. It's a 7:30 start. It's a TNT game. Against Buffalo?
7:30 TNT game. Yeah,
7:30 start. So we will be doing a 7 o'clock start here for the Press Row show. So again, 5 o'clock over at Chickies and Pete's, 7 o'clock here. Plenty of time to get across the street. I would encourage people who might have missed it. We had Danny Briere, the Flyers GM, on pregame. He gave us a lot. Unfortunately, we talked about how good Vladar has been to this point. Unfortunately, he mentioned that, knock on wood, the injuries haven't really mounted for this team. Unfortunately, mentioned that Grabbankin would get more time if maybe there were an injury before. I mean, I feel like we jinxed it. I feel like we jinxed the whole team tonight. But the pregame was very good. And Adam Kimmelman was on as well. Kind of gave an update on Porter Martone. Gave an update on not Nesbitt, Luchenko, and what that trade means. So a lot of good stuff happened pregame. Of course, Bundy was here. Bundy, can you go over real quick those 3 keys that you had pregame? Let's see if the Flyers executed on any of those tonight. I know one of them had to do with the PK.
I think they were an offer. Let me go back and just recap them really quick. The first one was home cooking. It'd be important for the Flyers to get a good start to the 6-game home streak, keep the record rolling. First game of the homestand is always an important one. Yeah, that's a big fart. Number 2, special teams, specifically penalty kill. That one didn't work either. And the forecheck and D-zone possession. Flyers will want to have an aggressive forecheck against the Pens. Getting on the defense and overhandles the puck are prone to turnovers. Go a long way. They want to hang on the pucks in the offensive zone and make the Pens have to play defense. That didn't happen either. It was one of those nights.
Were the Pens coaches listening to your keys to the game over on the Fanatic? Is that what happened here?
It's amazing. I dig through them. Can I really search into looking for keys to the game that make sense for each team that they play? I take a good 30 to 40 minutes sometimes to find the keys because they're hard. Sometimes, it's not just like you just read them. You got to dig in a little bit. And I mean, I really felt like those 3 keys tonight, if you do those 3 things, you win the hockey game.
I bet if you even had done 2 of those 3, you'd probably still
Especially
get away with the
penalty
win.
kill. If you have a good penalty kill tonight, you're maybe still in the game.
Unfortunately, they went over, and it was bad.
It was not a good night. I mean, and again, you're going to lay eggs some nights, but that was not. I didn't expect this tonight. I expected more energy out of the Flyers tonight. I expected a little bit more fight. Yeah. And we didn't see anything. I mean, it was a pretty pedestrian game, even by Pittsburgh. They called a guy up to bring some energy. He didn't do much at all. There was no altercation between him and Hathaway from what happened last year with that hit on him. Nothing really happened.
There won't be like an over course correction here. Oh, they could have.
No.
If Nick Delorier had been in the lineup, he would have brought some energy.
No, I don't think so.
Well, then that's good. All right, so we will be back on Wednesday again, 5 o'clock over Chickies and Pete's in South Philly, and then 7 o'clock here for the Press Row show as the Flyers welcome the Buffalo Sabres to town. We have a lot of games coming up over the next week and a half or so. Thank you to all of you who found us. If you're a repeat watcher or listener to the show, if you're brand new to the show, we do this every pregame, intermission, and postgame of every Flyers home game. And then every Wednesday night, we do Snow the Goalie radio at a rotating location of Chickies and Pete's. Before we head out, intern Andrew, is there any wisdom you would like to bestow on us?
Any wisdom?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Did you see, by the way, the Columbus ended up coming back and winning that game against New Jersey?
Yeah, I did. They were down 2-0. They won 4-2, right?
It's 5-3.
5-3.
Yeah.
Hey, can I ask really quickly?
Sure.
So Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Tried to negotiate being able to coach the playoff. It didn't happen. He bolts to LSU. I did see somebody put out that Lane Kiffin was maybe a dark horse candidate for Penn State. Obviously, that did not happen.
I wasn't really overthinking that.
I'd rather go to Baton Rouge than
And
Happy
now,
Valley. What better weather?
So I was looking to see like who's the Penn State coach going to be, and I saw that the CEO of Crumble Cookies. Ever have a Crumble cookie?
I have. Yep.
They're delicious. If they want to sponsor the show, feel free. But
See ya,
the
Mike. Take
CEO
care.
of Crumble Cookies said I might have to get off the sidelines. It sounds like he's a big donor to BYU.
Yeah.
Penn State really trying to poach the BYU coach.
Yeah, but it's
They're like 11-1 this
odd.
year.
It's
Big
odd that
12
they haven't
championship.
hired him yet.
Why?
Because I thought for sure that they would have a new coach by now.
Did you see somebody hacked the athletic director's account for Penn State?
No.
It said we are, and then I have to censor it because it's a press row show. Bleeped. I don't know who to hire. In all caps. I'll send it to you.
I mean, it's true. So I don't think Kalen DeBoer is leaving Alabama just yet. I've heard rumblings, perhaps, of Josh Heupel from Tennessee as a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
But
the BYU coach,
there's a real chance they just keep this interim, which I don't think is the right move.
He seems like a good Penn State guy, though.
He's a good Penn State guy. I don't know how good of a football coach he is.
Wow.
Well, it couldn't be worse than the last clown you had.
No, that's not unfair. But I mean, at least they fought back this year. They got a bowl game.
Did they?
Yeah, they'll be in the.
Penn State got a bowl game, the toilet bowl.
They finished 6-6, so they got a bowl game.
Wow, participation trophies.
No, they should not. They should not decline in the bowl game.
At 6-6, have some pride in your team and decline it.
How is it pride in your team? But quitting is prideful?
One of their wins was against my son's team, Villanova. You guys have no shame at all, you people. You should actually unaccept the invitation to a bowl game. Say, we don't deserve it.
Why are you dumping on your son's team?
Because, Villanova's a 1AA team.
So what? They fight hard.
I'm sure they did. They covered the spread that game.
Was Shippensburg not available to play?
No.
Muhlenberg?
I don't know that Penn State has covered the spread in any
Clarion?
games. They may not have.
Mansfield? Is Mansfield still a thing? I know a lot of the state schools, they combine. There's Penn West now. California University of Pennsylvania is now.
Villanova plays Lehigh this week in the second round of the FCS college football playoff.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's nice. All right. Well, good luck to Junior.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, well, I guess we'll head out.
Tired.
Oh, hey, real quick update. Yerk21 asks, when is intern Andrew's haircut coming?
Probably in the new year sometime.
You think so?
We
did have people. I think we're up to about $200 in pledge donations to charity to shave your head.
I won't make it too bad.
I was going to say, as long as you agree to not make me bald, I will do it.
Could it be?
You want a faux hawk?
No, I do not.
Can we give you like the older man who won't accept that his hairline is gone?
How about if I just
hair on the sides, but then
shave the top and then leave the sides?
No,
make it look like a
making me not want to do
Pachycephalosaurus.
this. Now you're making me not want to do this.
Why?
Because I think you're going to pull a fast one on me and give me a horrible
remember the
haircut.
Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal?
Yeah.
Hawk had the two. Remember he had the two strips.
Yeah, right.
No.
So the sides were shaved.
No.
Top middle is shaved. And that would be awesome.
What if we shaved the flyer into his head, a logo?
What if we shave his head and then get it tattooed like
Flyer Eric?
Like Flyer Eric. That'd be awesome. Hold on, I'm pulling this up real quick. I want Intern to see what his future looks like. All right, here we go. Here's Road Warrior Hawk. Yeah, this is it. This is the one. Hold on. I got it. Intern, this could be your future. Okay. And this isn't bad.
That's badass right there. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Intern.
You look so good with that, dude.
You're out of your mind.
That is so good. That's so good.
Just two strips.
Just two strips right here along the sides.
That's okay.
And then look, you even shave the sides. So like what you would do at the end, right? You could have those two. You could wear a hat for a few months, right? And then the middle will grow back.
I don't want to do that.
We should tell him that we're just going to give him a fade.
This is what I mean.
And then
I
take
think
the buzzer down the middle.
I think you're going to trick me.
I'm not. I wouldn't do that to you.
I don't know that.
I wouldn't. Well, you can believe me or not, I wouldn't. I'm
That's
too
exactly
old.
what you would say if you were going to do it to me, though.
No, we'll give you a cute cut.
It's going to be really cold.
Yo, dig it 1, 2, 3. Go find somewhere else.
What do you want us to say?
You're talking nonsense. Talk hockey.
There's a lot of fire talk.
I don't
in the
know if you know.
comments, too.
There's a reason that we're the number one rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show.
Because we go off the rails.
That's exactly right. You You want a synopsis of tonight's
We already
game?
talked hockey.
Sydney-
The Flyers
Sydney-
lost 5-1. Crosby put a clinic on.
Kevin Hayes scored on a breakaway. Dan Vladar is human, and they have 5 home games left in this home stretch. There we go.
It was
talked
it was a rough night. We talked hockey already.
All right. We will be back. Oh, here we go. A request for you to be an elf on the shelf. You do have the elf costume. You have to do it before Christmas.
Yeah, I still have it.
All right. We will be back on Wednesday.
Wednesday night.
We'll talk to all of you at 5 o'clock at Chickies and Pete's, and then we'll over here at 7 o'clock for the Press Row Show. Until then, that's Bundy, Intern Andrew, Anthony SanFilippo is in the bowels of the Xfinity Mobile Arena. We will talk to all of you very, very soon here on the Press Row Show. Have a great night, everybody.